A big thank you to Keller Supply for inviting PHCC of Washington to this year's Great Northwest Adventure. I'm always surprised how nice it is to get out of the office and meet up with fellow contractors and trade professionals. It's really one big family reunion in so many ways, and a few nights away from the business. And on the company dime, you can't beat that. One unique thing about this biannual show is how Keller Supply brings contractors from all over the Northwest together. We met so many contractors from surrounding states. I wish you could have been there, but stay tuned as Todd Allred, PHCC of Washington's Executive Director, and myself, Dennis the Apprentice, interview techs, apprentices, suppliers, and Keller executives. I hope you enjoy learning a little more about our great industry by listening to our next guest. Kevin Dunn, welcome to Behind the Windshield with Dennis the Apprentice at the PHCC booth at the Great Northwest Adventure show put on by Keller Supply.
Yeah, they're putting on a really great event. It's been packed the entire day that we've been here.
Yeah, from 8 o'clock this morning it was going.
They're doing a great job. And the great thing is there's a real sense of community here too. There's people from multiple states, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, all over. Yeah, it's great to see from everywhere.
Yeah. One thing I think is fun is the people that you call for tech support out in the field, they're here.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And you see people connecting the dots and going, oh, yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. Well, Kevin, I'm super excited to talk to you because you're from Legal Shield.
Yeah. So I was just looking up some numbers. Let's focus in on traffic tickets.
Traffic tickets.
Okay, so look at 196 million drivers in the United States.
Okay.
Last year, 42 million traffic tickets were issued.
Wow.
42 million.
Wow.
112,000 tickets every day. So what that means is more than 1 out of 5 drivers are getting a traffic ticket every year.
Yes.
And if you own a business in the trades, especially like plumbing, it's a time bomb for you and your younger employees.
Yes. The deal is when you're younger, these guys, even one ticket will keep them from being able to drive your big trucks.
Right. Well, and because frankly, even though they're driving a commercial vehicle, it's 2 axles, but it's considered a commercial vehicle, the rates for insuring a young person on a far more valuable truck with all the equipment and all the supplies on there, the rates are far higher to insure that kid than what they're normally paying for their personal insurance.
Yes.
But the challenge as an owner you've got, every ticket they get personally in their own vehicle counts towards your company's insurance costs.
Yes.
And because the trucks and the equivalent supplies are so valuable, even one ticket, most insurance companies will boot that kid off of the regular plan coverage, and you have to go get special coverage with a different company. And then that drives the cost up thousands of dollars every year.
Yep. And so you think about all the time we put into training an apprentice to get them to be a productive tech.
Yeah.
And then that can be completely sidelined from one ticket.
You don't think about it until it happens to you.
And then you say, why me?
I know. How could it possibly happen to me? Well, frankly, every young person you hire, you're rolling the dice every day that they're going to be one of those 100,000 plus tickets handed out.
Yes.
And the young employee, 18 to 25 years old, because, if they get one ticket up to that age, your rates are in big trouble.
Yep.
It's hard to make a decision based on something you don't think should be a factor.
Right.
Like they make one mistake and now, am I going to keep this guy around? Can I afford to keep him around?
Yeah. Absolutely. I remember I had a really good driving record, and my first ticket, I was going 25 in a 20 school zone.
Wow.
Like at 10:30 in the morning. It was in the summertime. So it was not in the right hours, and it was in the summer. There wasn't even school. I went to court, and he said, how many tickets do you have? And I said, 0. And he said, well, then you can afford one. Here you go.
Yeah. And you thought that was going to go the other way.
Yeah. It's like, I'm a good kid. I was only going 25 in a 20. Obviously, I'm trying to deal with the speed limit. And 20 miles an hour is really slow, actually. And what it did was it tripled my insurance. And this is before I got into the trades. But in the trades, that would have been devastating.
Well, and there's an interesting phenomenon happening in a lot of our municipalities where they're relying on these citations as revenue. They've got a line item in their budget where we need $1 million for traffic citations. So I'm not saying that in any department, individual officers, police officers have a quota, but if they're not meeting that revenue for the month or for the quarter, they're going to hear about it.
Right.
And they go out and they hand out more tickets. So whether or not one deserves a ticket may not have anything to do with reality.
Right.
And as a young person, they don't teach us in school how to advocate for yourself legally to get out of a traffic ticket. So most people just pay the ticket and they learn about the consequences later.
Yes. And unfortunately, those consequences can be career threatening, actually.
Right. You're out of the industry.
Yes.
And you've already put in 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
And you're 21 years old and now you're done with that company.
Yeah.
And every company you go to is going to look and go, oh, they've got a traffic ticket. I can't afford to hire this guy.
Number one thing I looked at is bringing your driving record. Also, because if you got a 22-year-old, he's got 3 or 4 tickets, that does tell me about you.
A little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
Because frankly, I don't pay attention to the speed limit. I drive however I want, wherever I go, and I haven't had a ticket in years. And so if you've got 2 or 3 tickets, it does say something.
Well, and the thing too is that I agree with you, Dennis, is a difference between that's a little bit of a character thing if you're 22 and you've got 4 tickets.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing is it doesn't take 4 to impact your company. It only takes 1.
Exactly. So let's talk about what we really want to talk about is how not to get that 1 ticket.
So there's a lot of things you can do. 1, never speed ever, which is a little bit unlikely, right?
Yes.
Now the other option is the goal at the end of the day is to keep all of those traffic citations off of your current driving record. That's the goal. So sending an attorney to court who's got relationships with the judge and relationships with the prosecuting attorney, that's probably the best solution. But that can cost $200 to $500 per event.
Right. Did you say it's who you know?
Absolutely, it's who you know. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to share some of my personal pain, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
I was driving to California. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was absolutely speeding. I was going 85 into 70. And at that time of day, I was also the slowest car on the road. I think he stopped me because he could catch me.
Yes.
So I get a ticket, it's $350, and I get back home, and my insurance agent tells me my rates are going to go up $100 a month for the next 36 months because it's going to stay on my record for 3 years. And the reason is in Washington, 15 miles over the speed limit considered negligent driving.
Yes.
So there is a happy ending to the story.
Okay.
Luckily, I already had Legal Shield in place, so I sent the ticket off to our law firm. They hired an attorney in Grants Pass, and he calls me and says, look, I have lunch with the judge every quarter at the Southwest Oregon Bar Association luncheon. So I know this guy. And I went to law school with the prosecuting attorney. So because of my relationship, even though they're just for money, you're going to have to pay the $350. Here's the best possible outcome. We're going to label this a faulty speedometer, which means now you have a non-moving violation. So it didn't show up on my driving record.
Awesome.
Right? Now, after that, I got 7 more tickets over the next 50 years. Don't judge me. I've slowed down considerably in my later years, but my little Legal Shield membership that I'm paying a small monthly fee for goes to court for free on traffic citations. And I've gotten 6 tickets dismissed outright and 2 changed to a non-moving violation. So for years, I was clearly not a preferred driver, but I had preferred rates and a clean driving record. So that's what I would recommend is that if you can figure out a way to have an attorney go to court where you're not paying per event, you're just paying a little bit each month, it can save your company thousands of dollars and a lot of stress and a lot of time invested in these young men and women to keep them at your company.
What's amazing about that story, Kevin, is a lot of times we don't go to court because like it was out of state, it's not in our town. It's going to take us a couple hours to get there at least. And so we skip it. But what you're saying is with Legal Shield, they can go to court for you when it's out of town or out of state.
Well, and here's the challenge you've got. If you're operating a plumbing company, a company in the trades, when's court? Court is during working hours. So if they want to go fight this ticket, they have to call you and say, can I have the day? And then you don't have them for the entire day in your business.
Right.
While they go sit and wait in court for 2 or 3 hours for their turn to come off.
That's remarkable.
So they're not going to admit it to you, Yes. They're just going to pay the ticket, and then you find out later, oh no.
Tevin, that's happened. That's happened. I had a licensed plumber who we got a notice from our insurance company that this plumber is no longer insurable. And we're like, what are you talking about?
That's extreme, right?
Yeah. And he'd gotten, this is a super cool guy. His name was Lee. And we're like, Lee, how is Lee uninsurable? But what he was doing was, if he was late to a call in Seattle, he would jump into that express lane.
Oh, the HOV lane, right? Yeah.
To get onto the freeway.
No.
And he got stopped 3 times. And then they said that he had 3 tickets for the same thing. And so they called it, it showed that he had I'm skipping the words here, but
Pattern of something. Yeah.
it was a pattern of not respecting the law or something like that.
Wow.
And he was a super, super cool, honest guy, but he was doing this little cheat thing to get to his call on time. And all of a sudden he was not hireable or insurable. We bought insurance for him because he was a licensed journeyman plumber.
So,
But if he was a kid, it would have been sayonara.
you're making 6 figures from the truck he's running, so you're spending 4 figures to keep him insured.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yes. And so,
And he's trying to do the right thing, thinking, I need to get to this job on time.
and we were out of control as a company. We didn't even know that was happening.
Right.
And so, so I'm a huge fan of Legal Shield.
Yeah.
Like, everybody should have Legal Shield. It doesn't make sense not to have it as a company for your techs, so that when it happens, they tell you, and then you're in control of your own investment.
And that's part of our job is to come in, explain how everything works. We've got a ton of things that they can help with in addition to traffic tickets, but just informing them, now that you've got this, don't just pay the ticket. Call the law firm. They'll go to court. There's no charge for it. You can still go to work while the attorney's getting the best possible outcome on your behalf.
Right. And this isn't a get out of jail free pass where you can just go drive however you want.
Well, here's a challenge. If you're going 90 miles an hour through a school zone, knocking 3rd graders out of the way, it's tough to find a defense for that.
Right. Right.
So if you're getting crazy extra things like DUIs or 25 miles over the speed limit, my advice would be lifestyle changes.
Yes.
But if you're getting regular traffic tickets like 42 million people get every year, then while you're doing your best to not get a ticket and you do get one, this is a great way to keep it clean, dried, and Ricky.
Yep. And here's another thing I've heard. I've heard texts will say, well, it's just one. Well, just one can add up after a little bit, right?
Well, and a lot of insurers will rate you banded by age group.
Yes.
So if you're in your 50s and you have 2 tickets, you'll probably survive that. Because they're like, okay, yeah, he's old, he's experienced driver, he'll probably be fine. If you're 25, 30 or younger and you get 2, you might be done.
Yes. Oftentimes you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not even really a choice because, especially if you're in your pre-journeyman phase, you haven't passed a test, you haven't gotten your hours in, then they're not getting the full value from you, like that gentleman who was driving 6 figures from that truck. You're not doing that for the company yet. It makes it hard to keep you around, and it's going to make it hard for the next person to pick them up. So we recommend, if you possibly can, train and advocate and work with your people so that you've got your own best plumbers doing it the way you want your company to do it. But this is just one more way that you can make sure to keep them around if something like that happens and have your investment pay off.
Yes. I was just going to say, it's like investment insurance.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
It's like if you're going to spend thousands and thousands helping this guy out, spend a little bit each month making sure that they stay around.
Awesome. Kevin, thanks for being on and join Legal Shield. How do they get a hold of you?
You can call me, 253-905-9111, or you can email me, Mr. Kevin C. Dunn at gmail.com.
Awesome. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Well, that's a wrap. I hope you learned a bit more about all the ways our great industry works together for the betterment of all our communities. I hope you're inspired to get more involved and connected. Look into joining your state's PHCC Association, and for sure, look to Keller Supply for all your plumbing and heating needs. We hope to see you back here in 2027.